Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right.
Since that point, so they finally find his body. His mother is beside herself because if you would tamper with evidence and you would lie about his clothes, lie about his cell phone, lie about deleting messages on your phone, then why are we to believe you when you say he accidentally drowned? Y'all with me? So that's why we got to pray for this mother as we fight for justice for Daniel Irvin. And President Mariel, if that case was mind-boggling, and they all mind-boggling, but the tragic death in Lexington, Kentucky is simply outrageous. Tyler, whose mother and grandmother, Lindsay and Niecy, are here with their other family members. President Mariel, you can't make this stuff up. He is the only black person at the house while they're celebrating 4th of July. 4th of July. He is somehow shot in his head. They call the police. The police get there. They claim that they were playing Russian roulette and he shot himself in the head, right, Niecy? And then they say, this is the gun. Well, the police take the gun and they do their analysis and they then conclude, hold on, this gun doesn't match up with the casings from where the bullet that they found near his body. And so you would think any good police officer would say, this is not adding up. Let's do a thorough and transparent and impartial investigation. That's what you would think. But when Niecy and Lindsay pour their heart out because their son, Tyler, is a good kid. He graduated. He got his whole future ahead of him, like Nolan, like Daniel. These young black boys, 18 years old, are doing the right things. You would think that the police would do a gunshot residue test on his hands right away to see if he was the one who pulled the trigger that killed himself. But they don't do that. They don't do that. They say there's no need to do that. They told us that he shot himself playing Russian roulette. They just take their word for it. Just let that simmer in your mind for a second. But it gets worse. Because now there's a question mark. If that gun did not kill him, then where is the gun that killed him? And you would think that the police would arrest the person immediately, whoever had the gun that killed him. So 7 days later, after they have said who all was in the house, they go, right, and they surround the person who they say got the gun, and they surround this house with the police department, and then finally he comes out and their family, they volunteer the gun. And it matches up with the ballistics that kill him. You would say, oh, okay, they're going to charge him with a crime. They're going to charge him with killing Tyler Smith. His mother and his grandmother and their entire family are outraged. They're fighting by themselves, and that's why we need the Urban League. That's why we need the Civil Rights Organization. They are by themselves because with all of that evidence, And with all of these highly questionable circumstances, they have told the family that their conclusion is it was an accidental suicide because he was playing Russian roulette. And we refuse to let them sweep his death under the rug. So you all are not alone, grandmama. You're not alone, mama. We're going to fight for the truth. And we're going to get justice for Tyler Smith, just like we got justice for Breonna Taylor, just like we got justice for Ahmaud Arbery, and just like we got justice for George Floyd. We're going to get justice for Nolan Wells. We're going to get justice for Daniel Irvin. And we're going to get justice for Tyler Smith, because these 18-year-old young black men, their life matters.
Values. Then what can people here do to support this effort for justice?
Now, it's so important that you ask that question, President Mariel. At 11 o'clock, we're going to do a press conference along with President Mariel where the families can tell their stories and we can get updates, major updates in Nolan Wells matter, and Daniel Irvin and Tyler Smith matter. But the biggest thing that we implore you, as Christina Elmore poured their heart out, please don't let them sweep it under the rug. Please keep saying Nolan Wells' name on social media in your friends. Please keep telling people about what happened to Daniel Irvin outside of Dallas, Texas. Please tell them what happened to Tyler Smith, because right now, if we don't speak up for our children, if we don't stand up for our children, if we don't fight for them, it ain't gonna happen,
We must
Mark.
demand justice.
We must demand justice.
Demand justice.
Demand,
Say demand justice.
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 I want to thank Ben Crump for, let's give him a hand. The reason why Ben Crump is so important is because too many times in all of these cases, it would be swept under the rug and the media and the public wouldn't pay attention to it. Or we would get a twisted story, which is a lie.
Mm-hmm.
That was Trayvon Martin.
Yeah.
That was all of these cases.
Yes, sir.
So I'm grateful to you. Here's what I want the family members to know. It's difficult for each of you to go through what you are going through. So many of us have children and grandchildren, and I have a son a little bit older and nephews about the same age.
Mm-hmm.
And I just continue to think about them as I think about your son. We want you to know that this Urban League family, the civil rights community, Black America, and all Americans who favor justice,
Yes, sir.
are going to stick with you, stay with you,
Mark.
pray with you, and be behind you in this continuing quest for justice. Will we? Will we?
Yeah. Should we let them just say hey?
Yes, go ahead.
We're gonna just let the families say hey to you and introduce themselves. Obviously, they're getting ready for this press conference, so they're gonna be brief, but please welcome the parents of Nolan Wells.
There are not enough thank yous for having us here, for your prayers, for your love. I'm sorry. Thank you. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much. You guys, your support is the reason why we can continue doing what we're doing. We appreciate you. Thank you.
You want to say something more? Okay. And next, we hear from the mother of Daniel Irvin, Tamika Irvin.
I want to say thank you all for coming out to show love and support for my son, Daniel Irvin. As Attorney Crump said, my son was an excellent son. We are all here. We have the same thing in common. We want justice.
Yes.
We're in the pursuit of justice for our children, regardless of race.
Yeah.
We want justice.
Amen. Amen. And then Tyler, introduce them. Tyler Smith.
And we have the grandmother and mother, and we'll let Miss Lindsay, you want to speak?
Both of them.
Both can speak, mother and grandmother of Tyler Smith.
Say your
I'm
name.
Nisi Anderson. I am Tyler Smith's Nana. There is no greater title that I could ever hold at this moment.
Man.
It is from the deepest parts of my soul that I want to thank each and every one of you all watching, each and every one of you all that are present. Thank you for being in this fight with us. We don't need another Black child to go unrecognized, invisible, unnoticed. We need them to know that our babies matter too.
Yes, ma'am.
They're loved.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Mark, that was so profound what Miss Nisi said, because America has to understand that we love our children just like everybody else loves their children. They need to know that Black tears hurt just as much as white tears, and Black pain is just as devastating as white pain, and that our Black children's lives matter just like white children's lives matter.
No, we are just so grateful. And Ben, thank you. We are gonna go and speak to the media. One of the reasons why we have to speak to the media is because we have to make sure that truth rises. Truth rises. And we have to ensure, and this is where we will appeal to you, and our social media team will, in fact, if you follow us on social media, take up these causes and continue to update people, but you can also do it on your own. We have to permeate, because in this environment, as you can imagine, making a conclusion before even a thorough investigation takes place, and then they spin it in the media that it's done and it's over. So we have the power of our voice. We have the power of social media. We have the power of our collective action to make sure that this false narrative doesn't become the dominant story. So we got to understand the power we have.
Amen.
And we are appealing to you. So let's once again give Ben Crump a big round of applause. Let's also just give a sustained applause in solidarity with these families. Let's do this.
Thank you, Mark Mariel. Thank you, Urban Lee.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ed Gordon,
God
back
bless
to you.
God bless you.
All right, guys, I just wanted to jump right on here and get started. I didn't want you guys to miss anything. I actually had a meeting this morning, but I do want to rewind some of that because I missed it. I had a meeting and I actually had just got off my meeting and wasn't able to jump on. So give me a second, because I especially wanted to start when Ben Crump came on the stage. So just let me rewind it just a little bit, because like I said, I was, had a meeting this morning. So give me a second to just rewind it just a little bit, because I don't know what we missed, but let's kind of rewind it a little bit, okay? So give me a moment here, and then we're gonna. All right, give me a second here. And good morning, everyone. I just didn't want to stop the broadcast.
The founder and principal of the Ben Crump Law Firm, Ben Crump.
Good morning, Urban League. I want to publicly, as I've done many times previously, thank President and CEO Mark Mariel of the National Urban League and the other civil rights organizations for always standing up with these families, whether it was Trayvon Martin, whether it was Michael Brown in Ferguson, whether it was Sandra Bland, whether it was Atiana Jefferson, whether it was Tamir Rice, whether it was Breonna Taylor, whether it was George Floyd, whether it was Tyree Nichols, whether it was Eric Gardner, and the list goes on and on. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Love you, man. Love you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And now, Mark, we're present here with the families of Nolan Wells, who you all know was 18 years old and went missing on 4th of July, and 2 days later was found washed up on the shores, dead. And from that time to almost a month later, his mother and father, Christine and Elmore, are still searching for answers. And so just know that we're thankful to the Urban League and the other civil rights organizations, because we are going to get answers and we are going to get justice for Nolan Wells. And I am so grateful to Nolan's parents for using the attention that they have been given to be able to help shine light on other 18-year-old black men who went missing and then was later found dead in very similar situations. Mark, you can't make this stuff up. You really can't, because Daniel Irvin, whose mother Tamika is here, and outside of Dallas, Texas, he has 2 young white teenage friends who come to his house, pick him up. They go out to fish, allegedly fishing. Somehow, it's inexplicable to us, he ends up allegedly drowning. But then his 2 friends, they don't go tell his mother, they don't go tell the police, they don't go tell any authorities. What do? They throw away his clothes, they throw away his cell phone, they go delete all the text messages in their phones. And while his mother and their family are doing this all-out search for their 18-year-old black child who graduated high school, like Nolan, doing all the right things in life, they are doing a all-out search for him. And then 4 days later, President Mariel, one of the boys come with his mother to the police department and say, we were with him because the Ring camera, they're asking, who are the last people you saw him with? And it's on Ring camera when they come to his house to get him, and they never saw him since that point. So they finally find his body. His mother is beside herself, because if you would tamper with evidence and you would lie about his clothes, lie about his cell phone, lie about deleting messages on your phone, then why are we to believe you when you say he accidentally drowned? Y'all with me? So that's why we got to pray for this mother as we fight for justice for Daniel Irvin. And President Mariel, if that case was mind-boggling, and they all mind-boggling, but the tragic death, unexplained death of 18-year-old Tyler Smith in Lexington, Kentucky is simply outrageous. Tyler, whose mother and grandmother, Lindsay and Niecy, are here with their other family members. President Mariel, you can't make this stuff up. He is the only black person at the house while they're celebrating 4th of July. 4th of July. He is somehow shot in his head. They call the police. The police get there. They claim that they were playing Russian roulette and he shot himself in the head, right, Niecy? And then they say, this is the gun. Well, the police take the gun and they do their analysis and they then conclude, hold on, this gun doesn't match up with the casings from where the bullet that they found near his body. And so you would think any good police officer would say, this is not adding up. Let's do a thorough and transparent and impartial investigation. That's what you would think. But when Niecy and Lindsay pour their heart out because their son Tyler is a good kid. He graduated. He got his whole future ahead of him. Like Nolan, like Daniel, these young black boys, 18 years old, are doing the right things. You would think that the police would do a gunshot residue test on his hands right away to see if he was the one who pulled the trigger that killed himself. But they don't do that. They don't do that. They say there's no need to do that. They told us that he shot himself playing Russian roulette. They just take their word for it. Just let that simmer in your mind for a second. But it gets worse. Because now there's a question mark. If that gun did not kill him, then where is the gun that killed him? And you would think that the police would arrest the person immediately, whoever had the gun that killed him. So 7 days later, after they have said who all was in the house, they go, right, and they surround the person who they say got the gun, and they surround this house with the police department, and then finally he comes out and their family, they volunteer the gun. And it matches up with the ballistics that kill him. You would say, oh, okay, they're gonna charge him with a crime. They're gonna charge him with killing Tyler Smith. His mother and his grandmother and their entire family are outraged. They're fighting by themselves, and that's why we need the Urban League. That's why we need the Civil Rights Organization. They are by themselves because with all of that evidence, and with all of these highly questionable circumstances, they have told the family that their conclusion is it was an accidental suicide because he was playing Russian roulette. And we refuse to let them sweep his death under the rug. So you all are not alone, grandmama. You're not alone, mama. We're going to fight for the truth. And we're going to get justice for Tyler Smith, just like we got justice for Breonna Taylor, just like we got justice for Ahmaud Arbery, and just like we got justice for George Floyd. We're going to get justice for Nolan Wells. We're going to get justice for Daniel Irvin. and we're going to get justice for Tyler Smith, because these 18-year-old young black men, their life matters.
Values. Then what can people here do to support this effort for justice?
Now, it's so important that you ask that question, President Mariel. At 11 o'clock, we're going to do a press conference along with President Mariel where the families can tell their stories and we can get updates, major updates in Nolan Wells matter and Daniel Irvin and Tyler Smith matter. But the biggest thing that we implore you, as Christina Elmore poured their heart out, please don't let them sweep it under the rug. Please keep saying Nolan Wells' name on social media in your friends. Please keep telling people about what happened to Daniel Irvin outside of Dallas, Texas. Please tell them what happened to Tyler Smith, because right now, if we don't speak up for our children, if we don't stand up for our children, if we don't fight for them, it ain't gonna happen,
We must
Mark.
demand justice.
We must demand justice.
Demand justice.
Demand,
Say demand justice.
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 I want to thank Ben Crump for, let's give him a hand. The reason why Ben Crump is so important is because too many times in all of these cases, it would be swept under the rug and the media and the public wouldn't pay attention to it. Or we would get a twisted story, which is a lie.
Mm-hmm.
That was Trayvon Martin.
Yeah.
That was all of these cases.
Yes, sir.
So I'm grateful to you. Here's what I want the family members to know. It's difficult for each of you to go through what you are going through. So many of us have children and grandchildren, and I have a son a little bit older and nephews about the same age.
Mm-hmm.
And I just continue to think about them as I think about your son. We want you to know that this Urban League family, the civil rights community, Black America, and all Americans who favor justice,
Yes, sir.
are going to stick with you, stay with you,
Mark.
pray with you, and be behind you in this continuing quest for justice. Will we? Will we?
Yeah. Should we let them just say hey?
Yes, go ahead.
We're gonna just let the families say hey to you and introduce themselves. Obviously, they're getting ready for this press conference, so they're gonna be brief. But please welcome the parents of Nolan Wells.
There are not enough thank yous for having us here, for your prayers, for your love. I'm sorry. Thank you. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much. You guys, your support is the reason why we can continue doing what we're doing. We appreciate you. Thank you.
You want to say something right now? Okay. And next, we hear from the mother of Daniel Irvin, Tamika Irvin.
I want to say thank you all for coming out to show love and support for my son, Daniel Irvin. As Attorney Crump said, my son was an excellent son. We are all here. We have the same thing in common. We want justice.
Yes.
We're in the pursuit of justice for our children, regardless of race.
Yeah.
We want justice.
Amen. Amen. And then Tyler, introduce them. Tyler Smith.
And we have the grandmother and mother, and we'll let Miss Lindsay, you want to speak?
Both of them.
Both can speak, mother and grandmother of Tyler Smith.
Say your
I'm
name.
Niecy Anderson. I am Tyler Smith's Nana. There is no greater title that I could ever hold at this moment. It is from the deepest parts of my soul that I want to thank each and every one of you all watching, each and every one of you all that are present. Thank you for being in this fight with us. We don't need another Black child to go unrecognized, invisible, unnoticed. We need them to know that our babies matter too.
Yes, ma'am.
They're loved.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Mark, that was so profound what Miss Niecy said, because America has to understand that we love our children just like everybody else loves their children. They need to know that Black tears hurt just as much as white tears, and Black pain is just as devastating as white pain, and that our Black children's lives matter just like white children's lives matter.
No, we are just so grateful. And Ben, thank you. We are gonna go and speak to the media. One of the reasons why we have to speak to the media is because we have to make sure that truth rises. Truth rises. And we have to ensure, and this is where we will appeal to you, and our social media team will, in fact, if you follow us on social media, take up these causes and continue to update people, but you can also do it on your own. We have to permeate, because in this environment, as you can imagine, making a conclusion before even a thorough investigation takes place, and then they spin it in the media that it's done and it's over. So we have the power of our voice. We have the power of social media. We have the power of our collective action to make sure that this false narrative doesn't become the dominant story. So we got to understand the power we have.
Amen.
And we are appealing to you. So let's once again give Ben Crump a big round of applause. Let's also just give a sustained applause in solidarity with these families. Let's do this.
And guys, that's it. I thought that there was more, so I wanted to go ahead and rewind it. But as y'all see, someone had put it in the chat. They don't give a damn about us. Ben Crump has to hold his own press conferences to get, answers to these questions. As you guys can see, Ben is dealing with a bunch of different families. And if you guys have been watching the media, you know that they're painting some real nasty stories about Nolan Wells. And I'm not even going to talk about it because I don't give a damn. I don't care if he really was drinking. None of that matters. That's what kids do. So I'm not going to talk about that over here because I don't care. I mean, none of that matters. None of that matters if it was true. We still have the same questions. What happened to Nolan Wells? We don't care about if he was with his friends and was drinking, honey, because when I was with my friends, when I was a young person, I was drinking, okay? So I don't really care about any of that, okay? They want to always paint Black folks with all sorts of ways, but we still have not got an answer of what happened to Nolan Wells. Now, thank you to everybody in the chat. When I started, I wasn't able to say anything because I wanted to get right to the press conference. But thank you guys for being here. We kind of got started, like I said, a little bit awkward because I had a meeting and I noticed that the press conference had already started. But what you guys were actually looking at was a press conference. I don't know if I want to call it a press conference, but it's something they have at the National Urban League. And Ben Crump, actually came to talk about, the cases that he currently is working with. One of them obviously being Nolan Wells. And then there's others. I think it's Daniel Irving, if I'm correct, but there's been a lot that's going on, y'all. And you guys need to really pay attention because, we got a weirdo in the White House. And I mean, he ain't said nothing about anything. As long as it don't, impact white America, honey, he's fine. As long as it don't impact white America. So, this is this is what we go through. And unfortunately, we live in a society that think that, Black and brown people are less than for some crazy reason. So it doesn't seem like Nolan Wells' family has gotten anything from the district attorney. If you guys recall, they did a press conference a few weeks ago and they said that they would be open and that, they had given the family an advocate and these people will be reaching out. Honestly, I don't think any of that has happened. And Ben Crump didn't really go in to what the updates were. But if you guys recall yesterday, and I don't know if you guys were on here yesterday, child, I'm getting the dates mixed up, but he did a call into a lady here on YouTube, and pretty much he really stated that there was no updates and there was no new information. So it looks like, I'm just going to be honest, it doesn't look like anything is going on. If you guys have been keeping up with the news, that one of those kids, well, they're not kids, young adult Bart is what I'm reading. And I don't even know if this is true. So I'm going to say allegedly with this part, because I really don't know if this part is true. But I read somewhere where they said he gave up some possible witnesses. And I'm just like, okay, it's July 30th. Yesterday I read it. It was the 29th. So, that's great that you're giving up witnesses' names, but I was a little bit confused because why would they not have all of the witnesses in this, July 30th? So I was a little bit confused by that. But I believe, that the mother, Christine, has taken, she's taken her own action. And one of those actions are, if you guys have been following the case, is that she has served subpoenas on the media companies. Why did I say media companies? On social media companies is what I should have said. Because what she wants to do is be able to get into those apps and see what was deleted and if something was deleted. And here's the deal. She should do this. As a parent, she should want to know what happened to her son. I mean, don't you guys find it quite odd that they came out day one and said it was a drowning despite any investigations? I mean, is that what we do around here? People just mysteriously die, people that can swim, and we say, oh, there's nothing to look at here. It reeked of a damn cover-up. It still reeks of a cover-up. They're saying now, oh, we're not releasing the autopsy until after the grand jury. That don't make any sense because whatever happened to Nolan, whoever did it, know what happened to Nolan. So I don't understand the secrecy. Releasing the autopsy don't tell us who did it. It just tells us what happened. So the mere fact that they're saying that nothing happened to Nolan while holding on to the autopsy tells us something happened to Nolan. Because if nothing happened to him and he drowned, then release the autopsy. If nothing happened to Nolan and he drowned, what are we doing here? So it's giving that something happened. It's definitely giving something happened, and it's definitely giving a cover up. Now, if you guys, again, if you've been following this story, I'm going to drop the link if anybody would like to come up and talk or say something. I did drop the link in the chat. But did you guys notice that one of the boys' dads offered a $50,000 reward? And I said, we must be getting extremely hot because You offering a $50,000 reward when there's already already an active reward of $125,000. So which reward do you think they're gonna take? Wouldn't it make sense for the $50,000 reward to go with the 125 and give it 175? Wouldn't that make more sense? That will make more sense. So the pressure is on. I'm not giving up. For the content creators, y'all do have to be careful by what y'all saying too, because you can come on to the internet and say, I believe this. So I can say, I believe that they had something to do with it. But what I can't do is come on here and say, I know they had something to do with it. You feel me? So you got to kind of change your presentation on how you're delivering the stuff. And, for the people that's, creating the lies, and I told y'all, that's why I told y'all when y'all came in my chat saying Bart and the girl was going together. What did I tell y'all? I don't know anything about that. I think, when we start just putting people together with stuff that we don't know to be true, we look like idiots. And that's why I told y'all when y'all came over here with that story, I said, I don't know anything about that. Just because you see somebody with a picture doesn't really mean that they're in a relationship, okay? But I think what we should concentrate on, this is what we should concentrate on, the facts. If we stick to the facts, we got a lot of facts. For instance, in the report, it states that they didn't know Katie. But clearly, now they say they know Katie. So can we just stick to the facts and stop making shit up, saying all of this crazy stuff? Now you can say the picture looks like they may have been in a relationship, but coming on your platform, just spewing lies and making shit up, and just stop. Like, damn, I get it. We get paid the more videos we do, but you just gonna be out here on the internet looking like a complete idiot. Like, come on now. There's so much, listen, there's so much more to this that we can really factually talk about. Like I said, I just noticed something in a report the other day, and I said, wow, I never talked about that. So I think, listen, y'all do what y'all do, but again, we don't really need to be making up lies. I mean, it's just, we just don't need to. There's enough good information out here that we can talk about. Why do we need to lie on a bunch of liars? We don't need to, Nobody had any info to the audio. Oh, say it, girl. Say it, girl. Say it. And the papers got sent. Thank you. Things that make you go, right, girl. Okay. And we not dumb. Now all of a sudden he was drunk, which I don't care. Like, do y'all notice whenever something happened to Black people, they try to go in their background and tell us, oh, he been to jail or she been to jail. It's the same playbook. One thing about these folks is they dumb, okay? We're not. We can think of different stuff. They have the same playbook. Oh, don't believe what she said. She been to jail. Don't believe what he said. He been to jail. Or nothing happened to Nolan because Nolan was drunk. Can y'all go somewhere with that? We don't give a damn. We saw the police on top of George Floyd when they unalived him, and they kept saying he was a criminal. We don't give a damn about none of that. What we care about is you unaliving somebody by forcefully putting your body on them, and the people are yelling out to you, telling you this man can breathe. We don't care about nothing else. A person can be a criminal, but that don't mean that they deserve to die. Okay? Don't miss me with it, because I don't even care. That's why I'm not doing no videos talking about Nolan had this in his system. For what? Why am I going to do a video on that? I don't really care about that. It's irrelevant. We don't even know if it's even correct. And who cares? Most kids, when they go to this stuff, they're drinking and all of this stuff, but I don't even believe that. Because didn't his parents already say that he pretty much was hanging out because he knew that he had this tryouts or whatever he was doing? I'm not really into sports. I don't know, but I know he had some tryouts that he was looking forward to. So that should tell you right there. I don't think he would drink or do anything like that. But even if he did, I don't care. Like, that is not the reason that we're talking about Nolan. We're talking about Nolan because he mysteriously came up dead and nobody saw him. How do you go on a trip with somebody, but you don't know where they at? But wait a minute. You saw him at the time that you said he was walking away from the boat. That's the only time you saw him. But then when asked, did you see him? Oh, I wasn't concentrating on him. They have every excuse for when they didn't see him, but they're gonna tell you that they saw him walking away from the boat. The shit don't make sense. Yeah, Bert wrote on Facebook that he went to the island to plug the boat, but Warren said in his interview that Wyatt got in the water right and plugged the boat. This is what I say all the time. When people lie, their main focus is to lie. They never think about how the lie will sound. That's why I said I don't even lie. It doesn't make sense to lie because I'm not going to remember the shit. So if I lie today, tomorrow I'm going to tell you something else because I don't remember. So I would just say I don't want to talk about it. Like all of these lies. And that is exactly what I'm talking about, Michelle Richmond. We don't need to lie on them. I mean, they have told so many lies in the paperwork itself. You can just bring the paperwork itself and you can go through their interviews and say, okay, he said this. This is what the paperwork said. They stated they didn't know Katie. They stated in the paperwork they didn't know Katie. Voila, they know Katie. Does that make any sense? Absolutely not. Welcome. How you doing?
Hello, nice to meet you first off. I've only seen like two of your videos so far, and so, just shout out to you. I like the way you're covering things. I have a question for you.
Sure.
You mentioned about them not knowing Katie and all that different stuff, but I have been wondering this since the beginning. How would they not know Katie? And I know it's specific to Bart, but some of the other ones were saying like, oh, Nolan met up with Katie there, right? He met up with Katie there and he decided to stay behind with her. But Katie was the one who knew where Nolan's keys were at their house. How would she know that if she was not already there?
You know what? That's a very interesting. So this is what I know. I heard them say a girl who was previously at the house said where the keys were. So I never heard them say that it was Katie, but I mean, it could have been her. The whole story, the reason why we're talking about this is because their stories make no sense. I mean, the average person
True.
can see that this is a lie. They originally started off, he went with some girl, Katie. They said they didn't know Katie. Now we're finding out they actually do. So the issue then becomes, okay, well, why did you say you didn't know her? So there's so many inconsistencies in their story. I don't know for sure if the girl that was at the house, because I know they said a girl, somebody that was previously at the house told them where the keys were. So this is my first time hearing that it was Katie, but it could have been her. But here's the deal. We know now that they know her.
Yeah, when I followed, okay, so I followed it from um what they were saying online when Katie was talking in different chats. And it was like she said, I'm the one who told them where to find the keys.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's where I got that from. But it was like, okay, well then if she said it, then how could that be so unless she was either there before or Nolan did come back to the house? So now if it's a different girl, then my bad. I'm only concurring from when I read the messages of
Right.
when she was typing online in different comments when people were coming at her comments.
Right.
So that's where I got it from. But yeah,
Gotcha.
it's a lot of different lies and things
Right.
that are going on. And I'm just so surprised at everything. And it seems like people are not noticing you don't have to always report what it is that people are being thrown around. There's a guy who I'm new to his channel too, so I can't even remember his name.
Don't
I'm
say
I'm very new.
it. Don't
Oh,
say
okay.
it.
Okay, yeah. It was like, okay, so somebody sent you the same thing as Tater Tots, Officer Tater Tots.
Mhm.
And it's like, okay, they sent you the same thing. So they must think you're on the same type of time. You don't see that? And if we don't know if he's taken anything, why are we reporting on
Exactly
everything that everybody is saying
that part.
when from the earlier side, his friend said he was fine. He
Right.
wasn't really even drunk.
Exactly.
He wasn't really on nothing. He was cool, calm, and collective.
Right.
Now it's, oh yeah, he was getting into it, or um he had taken some stuff, and it's like, come on now. First of all, I don't it ain't too many black folks that are taking those
Right.
sort of things at
Right.
a young age anyway. And he
Right.
wasn't an athlete. Why would he do that to himself?
Right. And you know what? Some more lawsuits need to come because if my son passed away and you think you finna get on this, I'm suing the fuck out of you. Like the things some of these people do, I just be like, I'm like, why are you so clout chasing that you would? Why are you even saying this? Like, why are you saying this? I'm doing a video about that later because I was just like, really? Is he really like, why are you on here? And he's on some other kind of type of time. I feel like he working for those folks to try to defame them because I don't understand
Absolutely.
is like, what is your angle? Like, you don't even know these people. Like, you're on here talking about their son, saying their son was using something. You don't say allegedly. You don't say are you just on here just running your mouth? I don't like that. I don't like that. It's really sad that that anybody would do this, and he needs to be sued. Like, that's just, you
I
know,
agree.
it's very sad that he's on here doing this. It's clear that he has something going on with the family, that other family, or he's been paid. It's something going on because I just don't understand his motivation. From the beginning, he's, saying that these boys are innocent. How can he say that they're innocent when we don't even know? So this is what we do know. We know that some lies are being told, and our brain would tell us if you're lying, then you must have did something. But for him to say that they innocent and then imply, oh, it was black people on there, they could have did it. I was done with him when he said that. Like, it's just
Absolutely. Absolutely. I didn't understand how he was so adamant about saying that these guys are good boys and they're innocent. And I've
oh,
seen the proof. And
another one
how do you
too.
see the proof when it was just them telling you somebody
He
told them that
says,
he was on that list?
and then says they come from good families,
Right.
as if he didn't come. That dude is
He is a willing Manchurian candidate. Okay. I don't know how else to
just
see it. He is very weird to me. And for him to be an officer before, because he was an officer for 6 years. So being that he had been an officer, he would know better than to say he has evidence, but
right,
he's not going to share it unless he has to.
right. And then
If your boys are innocent, you would have thought he would have shared that information anyway.
right, but then saying that he has evidence. I mean, so basically, like you said, he says that he was an officer. I don't know what the man was, but literally, he's saying that he has evidence. That is a crime called interfering with information or evidence. I don't know the correct terminology for it. So, how is this idiot out saying he got evidence and it's an ongoing investigation? I'm just like, this
Exactly.
people are
He
just
has
crazy.
evidence that he's not going to give
Right.
unless he has to give the evidence. And it's like, but if you have evidence that they are innocent, wouldn't you give that evidence since you rocking for them this
Right,
hard? I
right,
feel like every time we get a foot of the situation, they
right,
always throwing something to us to get us going in a different direction. Like, why do I care about this being a video of a boat that
right,
they were supposedly on when it
right,
doesn't look like some of the people that we know were on that boat because they said they were? And
right,
also, there's no water on the boat floor. How
right.
are they sinking at that point? You know?
And what does this even prove? So you want us to believe that this is the picture? Like, it's just weird because that's not your place. Why are you so involved in this situation like this? It's really weird. It's really, really weird. And it ultimately gives that he is working with them, because there's no way that you, especially saying that you used to be an officer before, um,
Mhm.
all of this, and you have all of this knowledge and background information. Then if you've been an officer before, then you know that you cannot interfere in an ongoing
Ongoing. Mhm.
investigation. So
Mhm.
so unless
Yep.
he's working with them, why is he here? I don't get it.
What was interesting to me is that they took him, or not they, what's his name? Warren. Warren took him to the island. What
Right,
boat did he use to take him on the island?
right, right.
And
It's
then who, if my friend had been missing and showed up deceased, and I know that he left with me originally, and I didn't make sure he got back, and quote unquote, he was doing different stuff that could impair his decision making. Um, I'm trying to figure out how did that not create something emotional for him? And did you also notice that in the video, when they were on the island and Warren was talking, he clipped what it was that Warren had started saying?
repeat that. I'm sorry.
Okay, so there was a moment where Warren was talking on the island and he
Mhm.
was answering a question, and
So your phone is going out. That's
of the
why
rest of the part. So I was like, what did he cut out?
we did.
Before then, it was continuous filming, but at that moment, he cut out what he answered.
Yeah, there was a lot of edits going, and I didn't realize this until I watched another content creator, and I said, "Oh, I missed that." So there were multiple edits, there were multiple cuts, and you can tell because when it picked back up, his answer didn't make a lot of sense. So yeah, there were a lot of edits, and this dude Tater Tot is clearly an op. He's clearly working with them, and it's just really sad. It's really sad. When I talk about the history of Black people, I always say this: it's us that keep us in the situation that we're in. It is like
It's
it
true.
seems like we can never move forward for people like him. Like just will do anything for money. Like is money? I get it. We need money to pay our bills, but damn, like what are we
You,
doing?
I thought, I know coons have no limits, but for some reason, I just figured a young Black man, Tater Tots, would, if he was going to rock with the white folks, what he wouldn't do is he wouldn't start saying things against the
Right,
mother
right.
or putting
Oh,
out things that he was in the water doing something,
right.
um,
Yes, yes.
you know what I'm saying? Like, did you really put out that sort of thing as if to say they don't know what exactly they might have been doing, but it looked like it was something intimate, and,
Right.
so it's like, are you trying to insinuate maybe he could have been essaying somebody in the water? And
I
so
don't
maybe
know
that
what
somebody
he was
took him out because of that? Like, what are you saying?
he needs to be sued. He needs to be sued and he needs to stop because it's clear that he's not, how we're just trying to figure out what's going on. And we feel like because there's been these different stories, y'all look guilty. He doesn't look at
Mhm.
it from that standpoint. He comes in saying they're innocent, and now I'm going to smear him. Because why are you saying that he was drinking? So you're saying he would be the only one drinking? So if he was drinking, then they were passed out drunk then. I mean, I'm just like, it just
Because
doesn't make
we definitely saw photos and things of them with alcohol in their hands. So we do know they were drinking. So it's like, okay, he was drinking, they were drinking. What are we
it.
talking about here?
But here's the deal. Who cares? I mean, that is a deflection. So let us just
Absolutely.
let us just say how drunk he was and possibly messing with drugs, and then people will be distracted because they'll say, "Oh, why was he doing?" I don't care about that. That is not the topic. That's why I said I'm not discussing it. I'm not doing any videos talking about that. We're still on the same topic. Who killed Nolan? I mean, who did?
Right. What's going on with this audio we heard? See, we got distracted so quickly from that audio.
I'm not every video I bring up the audio because if the audio is fake, then start suing then because it's been
Yes.
authenticated by major networks. The audio is not fake. It's not fake.
Right.
It's not
I
fake.
agree.
He even went this dude even went as so far as to say the audio was fake. It's just
Mhm.
I just can't. It's just I cringe when I listen. That's why when people ask me, do I be watching other content creators? No, but it's some that I will see and I may watch, but then sometimes they do videos and I'll be like, okay, I can't watch them anymore. So the only reason that I watch this idiot is because he's been saying stuff about this case. When this case is over, I will never watch him again. Yes, the audio is
Mhm.
it's not fake, but
Right.
that
The
is
audio is real. Yeah.
that is what they're saying. It's nothing is fake about it.
Yeah, I'm like, we have got to stop letting them try to distract us because I'm stuck on the audio and I'm looking at, for whatever reason, a lot of people, or I can't say for whatever reason, the algorithm on YouTube is driving people to be something that I should watch. And they're all talking about the Nolan case.
Right.
And every single time I'm watching one with 𝐟𝐸𝐵𝐿, I'm like, why are we getting distracted?
Right.
We need to stick with the audio. That is what we know for sure because we know that one is real.
Right. So the thing,
So can we
this is
not be distracted, folks?
it's not a distraction. I'm gonna be real honest with you. It's not a distraction. So as a content creator, we know what content people want to see. You know, and it's hard to not do that content because you know if you do this video, you're gonna make a whole lot of money. But you kind of gotta try to stay in a good space. Like I said, they were doing videos about the Katie girl. Everybody was clicking on those videos. That's why I was getting irritated at people saying, listen, stop telling me. I don't know anything about that. You're not going to force me to go do a video saying that, Bart and this girl when I don't even know if that's true. So whatever that's going to give them money is typically what they'll do videos about. And I spoke about this. I said, when I had first started doing YouTube, I did a lot of reality TV. The reason that I did reality TV is really because I was really watching it and I watched a lot of it. But over the years, I start like, if I'm going to be on YouTube, I don't think I can do reality TV no more because it has started to do something to my brain. And then I was no longer interested in it as I became this content creator. And then I'm researching stuff about these people and I'm finding out that a lot of the stuff that they do is fake. Okay. So then I became uninterested because I said, this is not real. This is a life that they portray on TV, but they're not real. So I found these kind of stories more interesting because it's going to help somebody and it's going to provide the knowledge and then we're putting the information out. But with that, I'm just like, I don't want to sit up here and just make up shit because when you're talking about real stories, you don't need to. There's so many ways we can have a conversation about this. Like you just said, the audio should be in everybody's video, but no, they're getting away from these fake stories. Oh, he, was messing with Katie and that's why he unalived Nolan. Come on now. Like, can we just
They try to do that with the 𝐬𝐫𝐫 boy, and I'm like, that is not the same girl in the prom picture. And they were like, no, it looks like her. No, it looks, and I'm like, that Katie is not the girl in 𝐬𝐵𝐿's prom thing. And I went to go and research it, and the girl ended up blocking me when she realized that I was like researching. But I'm like, I actually just want to prove it's not you. That's it. I was like, I don't have to show anybody. I just want to prove to the person so they can stop saying that this was you because we're getting sidetracked.
right?
Why does it matter who was dating who?
It
Unless we're
does.
going to say it was in a rage, but a crime of passion. But I don't even want them to get off on crime of passion because I don't believe that's what it is. So who knows if that's being thrown out just to help a case of crime of passion. You get less time for crime of passion.
Well, the thing, here's the deal. jumping off the roof talking about they all was messing with Katie. You don't even know what his part was. We did hear him. Now, what we can stick with, because when you get to saying, you know, he was dating Katie and all of that, we don't know if that's true. So we don't really know that.
Right.
You know, they said his damn name on the audio. Why was you on the boat and you said that you wasn't? So that's what I feel like we should stick to. All of these fake
Yes.
stories, I just get irritated behind that because I'm like, can we just stick to what we know and just, you know, but hey, they can go over there for that because I'm just like, look, I'm gonna stick to the facts and what we know. All that making up shit is very irritating, and that's why I said, you know, before I wouldn't mind if people talked about other content creators. The reason why I made up that rule is because they go and find fake stories that they think is real, and then they bring them over here. No, if that's what you believe, you can definitely believe that over there, but no.
Yeah, I caught on to who you were talking about. I think that was yesterday when I first got to your channel. I did pick
Right,
up on who you were talking about when you
right.
said the
It's
fake
just
stories.
like,
I was like, you know what? I've had to jump in the comments and say things like, you know, this is actually not what happened. This is what happened. Here's the link. Here's the photos. You know what I'm saying? Very
right,
interesting. So yeah, I do like that you're trying to just stick and stay focused.
right.
So, you know, shout out to you. I've definitely become a subscriber since hearing you knock down some things yesterday that just were not true.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You're welcome. Bye.
Hello.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm still learning.
You said I'm still. You what did you say? You're still learning.
That's the best thing to do in life is always to learn.
Still
Uh,
learning.
you hit a great point, and something that I've kept this quote from Dick Gregory a long time ago. You don't have to lie on anybody. The truth hurts bad enough.
Right.
And when we start to look at things like this, I have an experience with something almost similar, but a death was not included, but there was other things included. I think this is a time for us, um, just let things unfold the way they unfold. Pay attention to it, report it as it is, as actual facts. Um, I think this is another time for us to really settle down and understand. My children are 50 and 28. The youngest 28, the oldest 50. One of the things I found out is when things like this happen, we all become reactionaries. What we can do is start to really watch how we move. Be very careful how we move because, you know, we live in America where we think we get too comfortable and not think about security, health, and wealth of how we move. And I think this should be part of the discussion. And this has nothing to do with um, looking at a whole race of people and condemning a whole race of people. But I know from the way I had to move in life that there are certain things that you have to concentrate where you at, what you're participating in, who you bring into your square, or whose square you go into. Because when stuff like this happens, this why we get the results we get now. Seriously. And I think that's something we don't think about because these things are happening over and over and over. As you showed this morning, there are circumstances with other cases. And if you want a friend, Dr. Clark, not Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben said this. You want a friend, look in the mirror. If you really want a friend, look in the mirror. Because in the end of the day, if we still in 2026 have to do all this outreach, that the average person in this country don't have to go through all these types of situations for investigations and all this, speculation and all this. We know we're still in the fight. And we keep moving like we're not. And these things will keep going, keep showing up. And I'm not trying to condemn people how they raise their children or whatever. But I know how I raised my children to suspect there's certain things in life you have to look at the situation. And I know from experience being 7 years old, and my sister shared Valerie, Victoria at school. She went off with some people who didn't look like her. And when she got back, she was never the same. And she ended up in Bearview Hospital in New York for the rest of her life. You got to understand there's envy, jealousy. There's a lot of things goes into a lot of this stuff. When you think it's friendship, you don't understand this envy and jealousy, especially if you're doing something they're not doing. And you don't supposed to be doing that because people look at you in a certain type of way of the reflection of your skin color. So I think this is a deeper conversation of learning how to love yourself and be aware around you. That's all I have to say, and keep on doing what you're doing. I'm known in this space ever since 2015. I don't hang with young people, let me say older people, because I think a lot of older people are stuck in their ways. I'm here to learn. I'm here to listen. I'm not here to son people. I want to hear what you're going through, because what you're going through is different from what I went through.
Right.
And so that's what I want to share to the young people who may be listening to you this morning. Just be aware of your surroundings.
Right.
Check yourself.
I agree. Thank you for coming up.
You're welcome.
All right, guys, let me read some of these super chats. He's given Stephen from the Django. That dude. Warren Hawkins in the building, 6515. That lady just talking about nothing. She green. Let's see. All right, let's go back. McGriffin. I believe they're confident he took drugs because they put it in the system. And you know what? That's interesting, because early on I said if they come out and say anything about that, I believe they probably gave it to him, and unknowingly. I think the bad part about it is this case is bad for everybody, because it changed my life in the way that I look at these folks. Like, let me just kind of explain it the best that I can. When you see people online and they're saying he drowned, first of all, if he drowned, why does everybody's story keep changing? That's like a common sense thing. They don't believe he drowned either. They just don't care because he was Black. And we're saying that he left with some white folks. It's the same situation when you look at the Carmelo Anthony case. They don't care what happened to Carmelo Anthony. They don't care if he was scared for his life. They feel like you Black, you don't have the right to take a life of a white person. That's how they feel. And it just made me really look at a lot of things different, very different when it comes to certain folks. I'm telling you, because at the end of the day, they think they better. Not everybody, but you are only going to be able to tell the people who don't think that they better than you if you had some kind of a friendship with them. Then you would be able to tell, because you're going to be able to tell how they respond to issues like this. Now, if they one of those folks that be like, please, ain't nothing happened to that boy, you shouldn't want them as a friend. Tammy Van 4306, thank you for all you do. I was born, you were born in Canton, Mississippi. It's the same as the 70s. Yes, sir. No, sir. What? See, I wouldn't be able to say it just because I'm in Mississippi. I wouldn't be able to say yes, sir, no, sir, simply because I was in Mississippi. Hell no. Who your people? Yes, sir, no, sir. Who your people? Sheriff called Wild Bill. Shoot to kill. What? Yeah, and that's what people are saying about Mississippi. You know, I don't know very much about Mississippi. I visited there. You know, when the last time I've been to Mississippi? I think I probably was, it's been over 20 years ago. So it's been a very long time. And prior to that, I would go to Mississippi as a young child. So I do have relatives in Mississippi, but we don't really talk like that to be like, what's going on with Mississippi? So I really don't know. I just know what other people say. So I can't even tell y'all that I really know what's going on in Mississippi, but the people who live there seem to know what's going on. There's something that I want to show you all, because there's been a group of people in Mississippi, and they have come out, particularly before I show y'all this is what I'm talking about right here. This is how you know they have not been doing nothing in this case, but the pressure of social media is making them talk. Tell me how now, and this is what I said earlier, how did Nolan Friend turn over a list of 20 people today on the 30th? They didn't want to get those 20 people up earlier. This is kind of how y'all know that they're not doing anything. But today or yesterday, I saw this yesterday. They're saying that, you know, his friend, but allegedly they're saying it was the dude Bart. So, you know, this social media pressure is definitely working. But again, I don't think that they're doing anything, and I don't think they're trying to do anything. But I wanted to show you guys something that I ran across on social media. Give me a second. I want to show y'all this that I found. Let me share y'all this right here. Something that I found on social media as I was scrolling. Oh, that's music. I can't play that. My bad. Let me unshare that. YouTube don't play about the music, so give me a second. And also, too, I don't know what your purpose is for social media, or why you come to social media. When I come on social media, I be looking for information quick. I don't watch people that I know that be on social media lying. I just don't. So you guys gotta you got to decide you know, who you watch and why you watch them. Because when I figure out that you just come on here to lie, I don't listen to anything you say. I'm not trying to figure out what is true and what's fake. Once you are an established liar, I just don't watch you. If you guys can, I want you all to follow this page. It seems like, I mean, from what I see, this is some kind of coalition rising up against Mississippi. I don't know if you guys saw this on social media, but what I like about it, and this is why I say I could never be racist, because I can never say that I don't like a group of people. Now, I'm going to be open when dealing with certain people, and I'm going to be very watchful, but I'm just not going to be like, oh, I don't like you because you're white. Now, I may have to watch you a little bit more, you know, and see what you got going on. But there is this group called the Mississippi, I think MS is Mississippi Rising Coalition. And they, you know, what I like about it is you see, you know, white people, there's black people, but they're rising up, and they're, you know, just listen to some of their stories.
I think that an educated population can make their own decisions. And if we had all of us Americans properly educated on situations such as the mishandling of cases, specifically around young black people, we have just from the start always had these issues of brushing things under the rug so that white people can get away with whatever they happen to have done. And in this case, I do think it's very important that we understand that this is an institutional issue. Yes, we are bringing light to Nolan's case because it is very important to know what happened here. In addition to that, there are countless Black lives that we have no answers for what happened to them, and even in cases where it's pretty clear what did.
Okay, guys, we're gonna switch gears here.
Someone hanging from a tree.
So give me a second. Give me a second. Thank you for the person that put that in the chat. I was wondering when it was gonna start. They've taken forever.
Justice for our Black children.
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 Justice for our Black children. Justice for our Black children.
Justice for our Black children. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let me say how much I appreciate you all coming out for this important media conference. We have organized this press conference for a few purposes. One purpose is because we want the world to know that the National Urban League and all of our affiliates and members and supporters across the country are standing with these three families. And when families suffer the tragedy of the loss of a child, it gets lonely. And when families suffer the loss of children under circumstances that are suspicious and to the naked eye appear unjust, we must stand with these families. When families face the challenge of a non-responsive criminal justice system, we must stand with these families. With this giant of a lawyer and advocate over the last 15 years, going all the way back to Trayvon Martin, we have stood with Ben Crump and his clients. And we have stood with Ben Crump and his clients because we want the community to know that we are not going to be silent in the face of injustice. Amen. You and I cannot even fathom the pain of these families. I want to thank them for their courage and being here in public under the glare of the media in these circumstances. But we want them to know they are with family. We're standing with family. So Ben Crump is going to bring us all up to date on the latest facts, events, and status of these three cases. And we are going to continue, as we said in the earlier session, to advocate until there is justice for these three families. And we will not be silent. We will not get tired. We will not get distracted until justice falls down in these three cases. So I'm proud to introduce a man who is known as the Attorney General for Black America. And I dare say he stands with the great lawyers that our community has produced. Thurgood Marshall, Constance Baker Motley, Johnny Cochran, and I can name so many others, who over the years have been advocates for our community in many, many ways. So ladies and gentlemen, the next voice you are going to hear is from one of America's great lawyers, someone who is giving voice to the families and the victims of injustice. Ladies and gentlemen, Ben Crump.
Thank you to President and CEO of the National Urban League, Mark Morial. Please give a great round of applause for him not thinking it robbery to invite the families to be here at this great convention. We are so grateful to him and the others in the civil rights community for standing up like they have stood up in the past. And just like we got justice for George Floyd, just like we got justice for Breonna Taylor, Lee Merritt, just like we got justice for Ahmaud Arbery, we gonna get justice for Nolan Wells. We gonna get justice for Daniel Irvin, and we gonna get justice for Tyler Smith. And the large part is because you all are not afraid to speak truth to power. Thank you, Mr. Mario. Again, I'm Attorney Ben Crump, along with Attorney Lisa Park, Attorney Eric Hertz. We are here fighting for the family of other great lawyers, for Nolan Wells. We also have present with us the family of Daniel Irvin, who many of you are just learning about outside of Dallas, Texas, and his tragedy. We have Attorney Sean DeRaya and Attorney Brooke Cluse fighting to help that family get justice, and we want to applaud his mother, Tamika, who has been fighting as only a mother would fight, with not many people in the world listening. But we're listening today, Tamika. You are not alone, Tamika. You got Nolan's mother and father, Christine and Elmore Wansley, who are standing with you as well. Tamika, your daughter is here. You are not alone. God, please let her know she is not alone. Justice for Daniel Irvin. Attorney Harry Daniels, we also have the family of Tyler Smith, Lexington, Kentucky. You're going to hear from all these families. You're going to hear from Tyler's mother and especially his grandmother. You know, until the lawyers get there, until the community advocates get there, a lot of times these families are just by themselves, President Mario. And thank God for this mother and this praying grandmother who refused to let them sweep the death of her grandbaby under the rug. And so I will say briefly about each of these tragedies. Obviously, many of you know about Nolan Wells. And you'll hear from his mother and father after brief remarks by Attorney Hertz and Attorney Park. But we all know July 4th, Nolan Wells, goes with the friends, celebrating the 4th of July. All the friends come back. Nolan Wells tragically washes up on the shore 2 days later, dead. And so we know all the current events that have been happening. And we are announcing that we have the audio from the officials, and we have retained and are consulting with some of the foremost audio engineering experts to review those audio tapes from the 𝐶𝐶 call in its entirety. We also, and Attorney Hertz may go into greater detail on these matters, have consulted President Mario with oceanic engineering experts to talk about how these facts are lining up the fact that they say Nolan's body was found in the same location where they say they left him at. And so we want to know, how is that possible with the oceanic tides? We want the experts. I mean, you got low tides and high tides. It's not adding up, so we are going to dot every I and cross every T until we find out what happened to Nolan Wells. Attorney Hurst, we're also going to a little more detail at Attorney Park about how we're trying to coordinate with Dr. Roger Mitchell, who conducted the independent autopsy of Nolan Wells, to be able to inspect his throat that was missing with his body when he was flown to do the autopsy with Dr. Mitchell. Also, we are hopeful that they will discuss with Dr. Mitchell the photographs and observations made at the time when Nolan was first discovered, because Dr. Mitchell did not get an opportunity until July 10th to be able to examine his body. And at that time, we know the airways and the lungs had already been dissected and so forth, so we can't tell if there was the presence of water or not. That would suggest whether he drowned or not. And remember what Dr. Roger Mitchell said in his autopsy. President Mario, he talked about the fact that to say he drowned does not draw the conclusions of what happened to Nolan Wells. He said it is equally important to know at what condition was Nolan Wells' body when he went into the water. Was he conscious or was he unconscious? Was he forced into the water or did he go unforced into the water? He said all of these things are very important. And so we are dotting I's and crossing T's. We are focused on getting to the truth, and we stand for the truth. Me and everybody on my legal team stand for the truth, no matter who it implicates or who it exonerates. We stand for justice, no matter who it convicts or who it acquits. And we stand for transparency, so everybody can see. And that's all we want. We want answers. We're not casting aspersions on anybody. We are saying that we want to make sure everybody who is remotely involved has the questions answered to make sure we have a full and fair and impartial and transparent investigation. And is that too much to ask for these broken-hearted parents? Is that too much to ask? That's how, if it was your child, wouldn't you want the same thing? And I get it, they're attacking me, they're attacking Reverend Al, they're attacking the parents of Nolan Wells. We don't care about those distractions. We ain't no ways tired. We are completely focused, completely laser focused on getting to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help us, God. And so the threats, the attacks mean nothing to us. We will not be deterred. Look into our eyes. We're going to get to the truth. I am so grateful to Mr. Byron Allen for donating $100,000 to the GoFundMe so we can help get the best experts in the world. I am thankful to Reverend Al Sharpton. I am thankful to Mr. Tyler Perry. I'm thankful to Mr. Tara Owens. I am very thankful to everybody who did not think it robbery to say, what can we do to help people get to the truth and call in to the tip line so we can help not only Nolan Wells' family, but we can help 𝐬𝐝𝐫𝐞's family, and we can help Tyler Smith's family as well. Everybody on social media, please continue to ask questions. Please continue to share photographs, share videos. It all helps us solve this potential what happened to Nolan Wales. I mean, isn't it so important? Somebody saw something. Somebody knows something. As Christine and Elmore have said, if you're really Nolan's friend, you know in your heart of hearts that if the roles were reversed, that Nolan would say something. He would call and tell what he saw. And so that's all they're asking. Do for Nolan what he would have done for you. Do for Nolan what he would have done for you. Do for Nolan what he would have done for you. Congresswoman Beatty, we thank you in the Congressional Black Caucus. Please stand and join us, Congresswoman, because you all asking the questions from the Department of Justice and the FBI. It's important that we have the full weight and force of everybody who has any kind of authority to be able to help us get answers on Nolan Wales and the other 18-year-old black boy. Now, before I bring up the lawyers, I just want to say a word about Daniel Irvin and about his case, and you'll hear from Attorney Sean DeRaya, and after you hear from his mother, Tamika. So similar in what they're saying about Nolan Wales, and that is her 18-year-old son, President Maria, Congresswoman Beatty, two young white teenagers come, pick them up from their house, leave, they go on, I guess it's an alleged fishing trip. Her son, I guess they are saying, accidentally drowns. But his two friends then throw away his clothes, right, Sean? Throw away his cell phone, go and delete all the text messages between Daniel Irvin and them, and then say nothing. If it's an accidental drowning, why wouldn't you come to his mother and tell her he drowned by accident? Why wouldn't you go to the authorities? Why wouldn't you go to somebody and say there was a terrible tragedy, he accidentally drowned? But no, they gonna throw away all of the evidence that is germane to finding out what happened. And it's only after his mother raised all kind of hell, and for 4 days they are searching for what happened. Minister Dominique Alexander and the activists in Dallas, they said, no, something happened to Daniel Irvin. We got to get to the bottom of this. Then and only then, Mark Mariel, does the young people come forward to the authorities with their parents, and they say, well, we were there, and they confessed that they threw away his cell phone and his clothes, and they deleted the messages. And so law enforcement charged and arrested him after 3 months. 3 months passed, not until Nolan Wales started making the news did they finally come, and they arrest them, but not for the death of Daniel Irvin. They arrest them with tampering with evidence, and that's it. And what his mother is saying, what Attorney DeRaya is saying, what Attorney Cruz is saying is simply this. If they would lie about his cell phone and throw it away, if they would lie about his clothes and throw it away, if they would lie about deleting text messages between Daniel and them, how can you believe it when they say it was an accidental drowning? They need to take this case to a grand jury. And you're going to hear from his mother talk about other things that don't add up, about the conduct of the boys immediately after the drowning, the alleged drowning. It's so critically important that we remember Daniel Irvin as well. And then Attorney Park, Attorney Cruz, we talk about Tyler Smith, and I'll just try to paint the picture real quickly for you, and then you'll hear from these parents, these broken-hearted parents. 4th of July. You can't make this stuff up, Congresswoman Bailey. Attorney Daniels, 4th of July. Same 4th of July 2026 when Nolan goes missing. Tyler Smith in Lexington, Kentucky is the only black person in the home where they're having a 4th of July small house party. Somehow, Tyler ends up being shot in his head, dead. 911 is called. They come, the police get there. They tell them that he shot himself, that they were playing Russian roulette. That's what they say. They say, this the gun. The police retrieve the gun, and then they take their word as the gospel that he shot himself. They don't do gunshot residue on the hands of Tyler or nobody else. I mean, basic investigation 101. If you say he shot himself, wouldn't you bag his hands and wouldn't you test it for gunshot residue? But they don't do that. And you're going to hear from his grandmother and his mother as to the explanation, the implausible explanation that they offered them. And the fact that the gun, President Mariel, that they claimed he used to shoot himself with, the police, after they do analysis, it does not match the casings that they found on the floor to where he shot himself at. So still, they are taking their word for it. And it's 7 days later, right, Ms. Lindsay? 7 days later, after they did say, who I was in the house, they have to identify everybody who was in the home. And then they have to track down, well, if this is not the gun that caused the death of Tyler Smith, well, where's the gun at? So they have to go investigate, and they go surround one of the young men's houses he married, and they surround the house. He doesn't come and volunteer after knowing that they're trying to find out and get evidence about what happened to Tyler Smith and come forward voluntarily. They have to go to his house and surround it, and then he comes out and finally he volunteers that this is the gun. Think about that, Kathleen Tree. Just think about that for a second. You would think, after all of that, he is surely going to be arrested and charged with killing or being in some way responsible for the death of this 18-year-old young black man. But no, he is only charged with tampering with evidence, correct, Ms. Neesey? Nothing more. And nobody in all three of the questionable deaths of these 18-year-old young black kids, nobody has been held accountable in any way. And so that's why we're here, saying that we are not deterred. We're not going to let you sweep it under the rug. We're going to get to the answers of what happened to Nolan Wells, what happened to Daniel Irvin, and what happened to Tyler Smith. 3 18-year-old black boys in a 3-month period around 4th of July, 2026, who all were unalive in very similar ways as Nolan Wells. And I'm very thankful to his parents for using the attention that they were given and blessed with to also give attention to these other 18-year-old black boys. Thank you, Christine. Thank you so much, Gilmore. At this time, before we get to your questions, you're going to hear briefly from Attorney Eric Hertz, and then Attorney Lisa Park with some updates, and then you'll hear from Nolan Wells' parents. Attorney Eric Hertz, it's great to see you.
Thank you for showing up. I have some brief updates on the Nolan Wells case. We have been working with the district attorney. We've gotten a letter back yesterday, and she's willing to listen to some of the evidence we have, although we're having to still discuss her giving us back evidence. And that's something that we will see. The phones, not just our client's phones, but the other phones that are involved in this situation, we are trying to coordinate and have come to a tentative agreement with the district attorney to go ahead and have them investigated together jointly with our experts as well as their experts, and I believe, if I'm not speaking out of turn, the FBI is going to also be present there, and that's going to show a lot of stuff that we haven't seen. I'm going to keep this short, but as I always say, I would like to say one more time, society is judged by how the most powerful treat the most vulnerable, and justice will prevail. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Attorney Eric Hertz. And now we will hear briefly from Attorney Lisa Park, who heads up our Atlanta, Georgia office and has been putting on this event.
So today I just want to recognize all of these families for coming here today, traveling here to Nashville, even family that's here in the audience. If you think for just a moment, for these tragedies, they really just happened. They really just happened. If you've never had a loved one that you've lost, it's hard. And you feel like going into a quiet place by yourself, mourning, grieving, doing all of our own religious rituals, right? And so it's quite hard that these families have had to come into the spotlight to stand up for their children. This is not where they want to be. And for those people who somehow think that they want to be in the spotlight, I guarantee you, this is not where they want to be. For all of these families, for every single family member that is suffering through these losses. So I want to commend all of these families. I also want to commend them for coming together as a group, right? Because all of us, we are stronger together. We are stronger together. And there are so many unanswered questions for all three of these cases. But there's hope. And I see that hope because we do get calls. We have been getting over 100 calls a day. And I want to thank everybody who's called in, because for every time there's a hater that's saying that these people just want the spotlight, when somebody calls in with some encouragement, when somebody calls in with some information, it makes up for that. Because we know that we're stronger together. These questions, these cases can be solved, and we can do it together. So I want to thank everybody for calling, right? But I also, last thing, I want to encourage those who have not called yet. And you know that you have some information. One, I know that it's scary. I know that you may be scared. But if there's a time in your life to do the right thing, this is it. And you just have to be brave. And go ahead and please call us. These people, we need to. We need to. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Clark. And as Nolan's mother and father get ready to come, I cannot express to you how encouraged we are that we're going to get to the truth. I mean, so many things are coming to light, and we're going to get to the truth. We are not trying to cast aspersions on anybody. We want the truth. We want the truth. That's what we want. And like we said, if that implicates you or exonerates you, then you got to talk to your Lord. You got to talk to your God. But we want the truth and nothing but the truth. And if it was your child, you would want the same thing. And so that's why everybody who got children, you could understand the pain, that agony that this mother and father have been dealing with since 4th of July. How people came, time within hours of finding him saying, well, no foul play, just gone. How do you tell somebody just go on when my son is dead and nobody's giving us any answers? All those people out on that island, and you mean nobody knows nothing? Nobody saw anything? No, we refuse to accept that nobody knows nothing. We're going to get to the truth. We're going to get to the truth. We're going to get to the truth. And it's starting to come to light. Because truth is light. And we're going to get to the truth. Y'all give it up for the mother and father of Nolan Wells, Elmore and Christine.
Thank you all for being here today. It has been 27 days since we have been able to talk to our son, to hug him, to tell him we love him. This has been the most difficult time we have ever had. I want to tell you who Nolan was. Nolan was a God-fearing, God-loving child. He loved everyone. He was the person who would just make you feel comfortable just being in his space. He was never one to exclude. He always wanted everyone to be happy, to feel good, to have purpose. He would lift anyone up. It didn't even matter if he didn't know you. If you took that moment to just tell him a little bit about yourself, what you wanted to do in your life, right then and there, Nolan would be your biggest cheerleader. Today we are begging, because I'm not too proud to beg. We are begging, if anyone knows anything, his friends, strangers, please call the hotline, because we will not be able to rest until we get answers. But please understand that all of these distractions, these other questions that people, the attacks that people have sent our way, just know we will not be distracted. We are ready to do whatever we need to do as his parents to continue advocating for him, because Nolan is not here. He is not here to speak for himself. He is not here to tell us what happened. So again, we will not rest until we get answers. And if you know something, you need to let us know. Please do not be afraid, okay? Thank you all so much again. We truly appreciate your love and support.
I'm faced with a new challenge every morning, waking up, trying to process this. It's the biggest challenge I've ever had. I pretty much was raised up like a lot of you. I didn't have a lot, but I always said I wanted to give my children more than what I had. And I think me and my wife did that. We raised Nolan to love everyone, be kind to everyone, because it was just the right thing to do. I got a lot of stuff going, but what I really want to say is, like my wife said, if you know something and you are really, if Nolan was really your best friend, or for the people who say that he was their friend, please come forward and tell us what you know. All we want to know is the truth. We're not blaming anyone. We just want to know the truth. Any parent won't do it. Also, the disrespect that's been coming toward my wife and my family. For any parent, no matter what race you are, they need time to grieve. A parent can't grieve when you have people attacking them, attacking their jobs, attacking their character, just attacking them, period. Like, where's the empathy? We, as Americans, this is a diverse country. Not no one race made this country. We all made this race, made this country. So we all need to come together and just call our attorneys, give them information, and they'll take it from there. Just help us out, and not just us, but all these families need answers. Anyone with information on any one of these cases, please come forward. Because being a child is something that's got to do with this life. Thank you.
Thank you. And President Mario, I would just say the attacks, Christine has been a nurse for years, and she hasn't ever gotten negative reviews. But since she has been advocating to find out what happened to her 18-year-old son after he was washed up dead on Horn Island, sick people have been going on her company's website giving her negative reviews. Can you all imagine anything worse than that? That is a shame before God. They are just sick, evil people who would attack this mother and this father for simply saying, we want to know what happened to our child. Don't worry, Christine. We standing with you. We are standing with you. Next, we're going to have the mother of Daniel Irvin come and talk about her child and tell you what happened in her words, and then you hear brief remarks from attorney Sean DeRee.
Thank you, Mr. Crum. Tampering charges in this case is absolutely unacceptable. Tampering in itself means that someone intentionally hid, destroyed, or altered evidence. If the district attorney's office has that evidence, take that evidence, put it together, and present it to a new grand jury. And if the district attorney's office doesn't want to do it, we are calling on an independent investigation by the Department of Justice, because we are here for the truth. And one last point I want to add to what Mr. Crum said. Daniel Irving, when these boys said that he drowned, he was a high school swimmer. He was on the swim team. He was a healthy, young 18-year-old male. So that story that he drowned accidentally, it doesn't add up. It does not add up, and we want the truth.
Police and law enforcement are supposed to be protecting and serving. But my question today is, who are they protecting and which communities are they serving? want to know is why crimes against Black and brown people receive less justice and less coverage. And I'm going to give you some data to back it up, and I'm going to read it because I don't want to make any mistakes here. Over a 10-year period, statistics show that 53% of Black killings go uncharged, no charges related. And so that means over half of those related killings are never prosecuted. And when you think about arrest rates, 63% of white victims receive justice versus are compared to 47% of Black victims. So when people think we have two systems of justice in this country, the data kind of backs that up. And now we'll hear from Tamika.
My name is Tamika Irving. I am the mother of Daniel Irving. This is my daughter, 𝐬𝐻𝐫𝐞 Irving. This is Daniel's eldest sister. So what a lot of you guys don't know, to give you like some context, my son told me that he was going to go outside and hang with some friends. Okay, and I was under the understanding that he would be in the neighborhood. So I didn't know where my son was. I thought that he was just visiting friends in the neighborhood. Around 8 o'clock or so, I started to text Mike, call Mike, and Mike was an honorable child. He wanted to serve and protect, be in the military. He loved people. He always had a joke to tell. He was very comical. So I called the police the following day at 12:30 in the morning, and I said, hey, my son ID is here, and his money is here, his Social Security is here, and I don't know where he's at, and this is not like him, so I'm reporting him missing under suspicious circumstances. The officers were very dismissive. The officers were very dismissive. So I didn't get any information about where my son was. I canvassed the neighborhood. I knocked on doors. I asked neighbors for video footage. I had to do the footwork, the research, the investigating. I had to do it. And so to the mothers, to anyone out there who have a loved one, do not wait for the police to do their job. Okay, so fast forward, I reported my son missing. My son was to graduate in May. He was unable to graduate because the two boys murdered my son. They said my son jumped off a bridge, and I know that's not the truth. He was found in water. And not only that, my son was on the swim team. He was very comfortable with swimming in the pool, swimming in lakes. The autopsy report shows my son had an unobstructed airway. So my son did not drown. I want to know why the people that are in place to serve and protect failed to do their job from the very start. When I reported my son missing, it took them 35 hours, over 35 hours to input his information only in the state system, showing that he was missing. They failed to enter his information in the NCIC, the National Criminal Database. Being my son was under 21, law enforcement had a responsibility to enter his information within 2 hours, and they failed to do it. My son will fight for me, and I'm here to fight for him. I want justice. We are in the pursuit of justice.
Justice for Daniel Irving.
Justice for Daniel Irving. Justice for Daniel Irving. And the final family you will hear from is going to be the family of Tyler Smith, who many of you haven't heard of at all. And I want to have his family who drove from Lexington, Kentucky to the National Urban League Convention to say that Tyler Smith, life matters too. Y'all, please give him a round of applause. Tyler Smith, life matters. Tyler Smith, life matters. Tyler Smith, life matters.
I want to thank everyone for showing up today, supporting all these families. I was asked many times, who is Tyler? What does Tyler mean to you? And I had to take a deep dive into that because to give a few words wouldn't be justice. So I went into my prayer closet, as most names do. Because see, Tyler calls me name. And when people ask me to tell them, I find a struggle in finding words big enough to describe who he is. Tyler is charismatic. He's warmth. Tyler is love. Tyler is compassion and tolerance. Tyler is focus and determination. Tyler is an entrepreneur with dreams, goals, and a vision for his future. Tyler is a calming presence, a peacemaker, and a source of comfort to those around him. Tyler is that warm piece of cake straight out of the oven, that soft buttermilk biscuit that the butter glides across the top. Tyler is the depth of a baby's laughter and the warmth of a grandmother's hug. Tyler is what many people spend a lifetime searching for, but never fully find a genuine soul with a kind heart and a beautiful spirit. For me, Tyler is much more than all of those things. He's my motivation, my determination, the wind beneath my wings. Even in his absence, he continues to give me strength. He has become a part of the reason I stand, the part of the reason that I keep moving forward. When I received that call at 6 a.m. that morning that my grandson had been involved in a shooting, I thought, okay, hand, foot, and I arrived upon the scene of the hospital and found out that this was a gunshot wound to the head. Again, I'm a praying mother. I have a son who a year ago had a near fatal car accident. I know what God can do. You can't tell me what God can do. I've seen it. I watch it every day. I watch him learn how to walk and talk. And I comforted his grandfather and said, don't worry about this. We've already been through this fire. It'll be okay. When the physician came out and pronounced my grandson, and she stated, self-inflicted, accidental, I told her, you're a liar, and there is no truth in it. I explained to her immediately. I said, how do you have this evidence for you to know this? She said, because they see it. I said, they see it? She said, yes. As days progressed, my family and I began to move forward. We got none effort, energy at all from the Lexington Fayette County Police Department. We were told that we needed to accept accidental, self-inflicted. They offered no traces of gun residue, even though I called the coroner's office and the police department. And I begged and pleaded, please, bag his hands. No child, and I say child because it's relative, no one was searched on the scene. They took an investigation as a total from all 5 of these young people and said, they said this is what happened. I asked for gun residue on anyone. The answer that I was given, well, there's no need to bag his hands. Everyone in this room would have gun residue on them. That was their excuse to me. When they moved my grandson in an expedient manner
not to our local coroner's office, but to the state capitol, which I was told wouldn't happen until that following Monday. Miraculously, in 2 hours, he was on his way to the medical examiner in the capitol. On Monday morning at 10 a.m., they came back and told me again, accidental, self-inflicted. For 17 days, my sons and I worked tirelessly, investigating everything on our own. The police department gave us nothing, absolutely nothing. They treated me as if I were a pirate, asking all the wrong questions. Why do you need to know? We've handed you that carrot already. Take a bite. Settle down. It's accidental, self-inflicted. As I talked to the police chief, I explained to him. He said, well, what do you want from this? What are you looking for? I said, what would you be looking for?
Exactly.
I want transparency. I want you to simply do the job that you were paid to do. My family never asked you for a bird either. We just asked you to earn the paycheck that you either receive this week or the next. We ask you to simply, the same way you go into our Black and brown neighborhoods and you can investigate and you can interrogate and you can charge, give us the same respect. Tyler is loved. He's loved. But most importantly, Tyler calls her mama. Tyler calls me Pepper. That's my baby, Pepper. He's my baby. It will be my dying breath to say his name. No stone will go unturned. I'm not afraid to go to hell and sit with the devil about my work. I want to know. I want transparency. I want someone to speak on it. Continue to say our names. Continue to say our children's names. We deserve answers. We deserve justice. We deserve transparency. That's all we're asking for. And I thank you all so much for the time and the space that you have given every one of us.
Justice for Tyler Smith. Justice for Tyler Smith. Justice for Tyler Smith. And we're going to get to the truth on Tyler. I promise you, we're going to get to the truth of what happened to Tyler Smith. At this time, President Mario, we're going to ask that the Congresswoman just say a brief word and take questions. Yes, Evans, CBC, thank you all very much.
Let me simply say the two most powerful words we can say. To you as families, to the Urban League family, to you, President, CEO, and my good friend, to you, Attorney 𝐬𝐿𝐫𝐷𝐿, thank you. But let me just say, the Congressional Black Caucus, we aren't just coming today. We communicated with Attorney Crump, with President Martin Muriel, and we stand with you. And I'll end with your words, Mark. We're going to let justice roll down like a stream and righteousness like mighty waters. We are the Congressional Black Caucus. We stand for you, for justice, transparency, and righteousness. Thank you and God bless you.
This has been moving and powerful. We want to take questions from members of the media. Members of the media, if anyone in the working media has a question for Attorney Crump, then please identify yourself, speak real loudly. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. And that's an excellent question because thank God for us being able to get the national attention on Nolan Wells case. And that doesn't happen just by coincidence. It's a lot of the civil rights community, a lot of the activists, Reverend Al, people like Byron Allen, Tyler Perry, everybody on social media coming to say, no, this ain't adding up. We got to find out what happened to Nolan Wells.
And then we get contacted by our good friend, Attorney Sean Derrea, saying that, hey, we got a similar case, Attorney Crook, where you co-counsel with us, and Attorney Brooklyn start working with them. And then we get a call to the call center, President Mariel, and I simply can't believe what happened to Tyler Smith. It shocks my conscience. And so Kareem Ali and Cliff Jones, my investigators, they start to investigate. And we're saying, this can't be true. They really didn't do a gunshot residue test on the hands. I mean, that's basic. And so it hits me that all of them are 18-year-old black kids that died in very questionable circumstances when Nolan was the only black kid on the boat. Daniel was the only black kid allegedly on the fishing trip. And Tyler was the only black kid at the 4th of July celebration party, house party. And all of them are 18 years old. Look at the dates. I mean, that's eerie when you look at the dates. February 8th, Tyler Smith is born. July 4th, 2026, he is dead. Can I see the other? Oh, no. This is Daniel 𝐸𝐵𝐷. I mean, he's born November 21st, 2007. He is dead on April 17th, 2026. President Nolan Wells, born August 19th, 2007. He is dead in July of 2026. The date is yet to be determined. All of these young black kids were born in 2007, and all three of these black kids died 2026, 18 years of age, on the cusp of manhood. And I said, no, we got to show that this is not a coincidence that all these young 18-year-old black men are ending up dead and nobody's being held accountable. No, we got to bring the law. We got to bring the law. We must bring the law for these 18-year-old black men.
Let me also our members who were planning to come to Nashville asked me late last week if we would be commenting on, dealing with, shedding any light on the Nolan Wells case. I invited Ben Crump to come to Nashville to brief us on the Wells case. In the course of that conversation, he shared with me, by the way, there are two other similar cases. I said, two other similar cases? I said, Ben, can you bring all of the families to Nashville? Because the thousands of urban leaders who are here are interested in it, have a solidarity with it, want to hear directly, not through filters, about the circumstances of these cases. And that is what the National Urban League Conference is all about. It is about dealing with the pressing, cutting-edge issues that face the nation and face Black America. So we are here because this is what we do.
Yes.
Whether it's Trayvon Martin back in the early teens, Michael Brown, George Floyd, Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor, Tamir Rice, we deal with these issues because our constituency wants to hear directly. And I want to say this, we trust Ben Crump. And we know that he does not engage in chasing false cases. That he also, when he takes a case, that he's going to elevate the word and the personality and the pain of the families. All too often, when Black families are victims of
violence and victims of unfair justice system, they suffer in silence. They can't find lawyers with the courage and the ability. They suffer in silence. So I know when Ben Crump has a matter, he is always welcome at the National Urban League Conference to come and bring us up to date. And that's why we're here in Nashville. Other press questions? Any others? Yes, ma'am. Identify yourself, please. New York Post.
Yeah, we know about the question. We're ready for it. This attack and this threat to sue us and the family for defamation, it's a distraction. We're not distracted by it at all. And it's about getting to the truth. That's what we want. And that's what we're focused on. We haven't done anything other than ask questions to get to the truth. Okay. Another one.
That accusation doesn't deserve a response. That's right. There's no dignity associated with someone standing up for children who have died. We don't waste our time arguing with donkeys. We don't waste our time arguing with people who want to distract from the real issue. We have 3 dead black young men under suspicious circumstances. And I don't think the New York Post ought to give elevation to distractions like that. This is such an old story. We fight for justice and someone suggests all we want is publicity. You know what happens when we stand here? Our inboxes are filled with hate messages, hate mail, hate this, hate that. No one. Our dignity in standing up. And I'm not, you're a reporter, you work for the paper, your editors told you to ask this question. I want you to know we will not be distracted. And I'm not, Ben Crump is like any lawyer. He should get paid for his work. That's right. Just like every Wall Street lawyer, every Trump lawyer, every insurance defense lawyer. And I really want everyone to understand, let's not be distracted. Let's not give oxygen. Let's not give air to haters and distractors and dissuaders. So thank you for your question. I will say this. I will not ever surrender the fact that I am American. However, we celebrate Juneteenth. I don't necessarily celebrate July 4th, but I note it as an important day. And I'm not going to fall into the trap that some want to. I fly the American flag in front of my house. But on the other side of my porch, I fly the Juneteenth flag. And we are not going to let anyone diminish our birthright, our constitutional right, our birthright to be treated fairly and justly in this country. It is very difficult and challenging in these times, but we are not going to be tricked. We're
not going to be dissuaded. We're not going to be distracted. I am an American. I am an African American. I am a Black American. And I'm proud to be one. But I think we need to clearly understand that African Americans, Black people, and civil rights leaders have always been the conscience of this country. Amen. Have always been loyal to the nation, even in the most challenging times. And I'm not going to suggest it's easy for us. But what we're not going to allow is for people to marginalize us, treat us like second-class citizens, or suggest that somehow, let me tell you what a true patriot is. A true patriot stands up for justice. A true patriot stands up for the families and the victims of violence. A true patriot holds the justice system accountable, doesn't make excuses for an unjust justice system. So we gotta understand that we're not gonna get tricked and cornered into people suggesting because we stand up for justice, we're something other than a true and full patriot in this country. That's the way I feel. I said last night, I was born in a segregated hospital, born in a segregated city, watched my parents and their friends fight and litigate and march to open doors of opportunity. The reason why these times are so tough and why they're so difficult is because if we are not careful and if we are not vigilant and diligent, our children and grandchildren will be relitigating the battles of our parents. This movement in this country to turn back the hands of time is palpable. So when we stand up for these families, and we'll stand up for other families, and we'll stand up for other people, we're doing it because we are true patriots. We're doing it because we believe in justice. We do it because we're going to hold the justice system accountable. This Urban League movement has a mission. And its mission is something we will not surrender. Like the Congressional Black Caucus says, we have no permanent friends, we have no permanent enemies, we only have permanent interests. So thank you for your question.
And let me say this before I move on to the final two questions. You know, we as African Americans, as WB people have said, we have this duality. I mean, on one hand, we know that when the founders wrote the Constitution, they never expected that the rights would apply to us. But like my personal hero, Thurgood Marshall said, I know they didn't intend it to apply to us, but we're going to make it apply to us anyway because we are American citizens. And if anybody built this country, it was our ancestors with the rolling in the cotton fields. I mean, doing the things that made this very young country become such a prosperous country at such an early age in its infancy. I mean, when you think about what slavery did to elevate America, that were our ancestors. So, yes, I'm going to celebrate the 4th of July essence every year because my ancestors built this joint. And then I'm really going to celebrate on the Juneteenth because I know that is what we do to acknowledge our ancestors. Just like Jewish Americans celebrate the 4th of July in their important dates, just like Italian Americans celebrate the 4th of July in their important dates, just like Spanish Americans celebrate the 4th of July in important dates to them. Black people, we celebrate the 4th of July because we built America. Plenty in, and I
I want the TV, then that's going to be it. Go ahead. I'll Sean speak briefly to Daniel Irvin, but that's why I was brought in to bring attention to the Daniel Irvin case. Sean and his team and their mother been fighting and not making progress, but we're going to get answers. Sean.
We have not had any progress with the Dallas County District Attorney's Office. We are planning, Mr. Crump and I, to meet with the District Attorney if he will meet us, and we want to talk about this case, we're going to talk about this evidence, and we want to move this forward, and we want murder charges. Is that right, Mr. Crump?
You know, one of the things that Sean and Tamika said, Ryan, she said that there was a witness after the drowning that said Tamika, the young man was limping when he came back. And that was part of the investigation. And she's saying, well, why didn't y'all explore that? Like, why are you limping? You're saying my son jumped off the bridge. Well, that's going to cause you to limp.
Yes, that is true, and there was a witness that provided video footage via flash drive to the detectives, and they failed to enter that information in the probable cause affidavit. The witness also said that the detectives just grossly overlooked that, and they failed to enter that information. Again, I know Daniel did not drown, and tampering with evidence is offensive for the murder they committed.
I would just respond to this here on Ryan's case. And his mother believes her child was murdered. We are still trying to get all the information, Attorney DeRay and I, but she does not believe her son unforced went into a lake, a high school swimmer, and drowned. She just isn't accepting that, and she has a right as a parent to question that. As it relates to Tyler Smith, we're going to have more information coming forward because of the hard work of his mother and grandmother, and we think the shoe is about to drop on that. And we're going to meet with the district attorney. We haven't yet, but we're going to meet with them because people are starting to come forward. And I again thank the parents of Nolan Wells because people are coming forward in their case. That's inspiring people to come forward in Tyler Smith's case as well. So thank you all for coming forward. She had the last name. Okay.
My message would be that we have to have tough conversations. This is something our community already knows. We have to make sure that, and I know my husband and I, we have had countless conversations with all of our children about the importance of understanding when you are moving in different spaces with people that do not look like you. And it's unfortunate that we have to have these conversations, but they are needed in order to hopefully keep our children safe. So I would say to all the mothers out there, especially my Black mothers, we just have to keep pushing forward. We have to do the things to protect our children.
This is so tragic, but this is why Ben Crump is so important. This is why when families face these types of challenges, they need good counsel.
That's right.
They should not wallow and try to handle it themselves. They shouldn't just go to community leaders and politicians, although that's important. They need good counsel. They need good civil rights counsel. They need people like Ben Crump or Lee Merritt, and there are many, many others around the nation who do this kind of important work. And I just encourage families that face cases of injustice, cases where they want answers, to work to get good counsel. We at Urban League, our affiliates, we get calls all the time. And what we try to do is guide them in the right direction. We try to help them identify counsel or people, and that is really, really important in the case. I want to confront the question you asked about race. Something in this country, whenever a Black person is the victim of an act of injustice, why is it when we seek justice, we get this smear campaign?
That's right.
Of playing race card. I have seen this movie for many, many, many years. And we are going to call it out because we are not going to be enslaved, distracted, and intimidated for standing up for members of our community. Let the charges come. I say it's like they're blowing bubbles. It's just a lot of rhetoric, it's nasty, and it's hateful. But you know what I found? That every loud person attacking us, there's 15 quiet people, yes, who represent silent supporters of justice. They may not speak out, they may not go on social media, but they're in solidarity. We have to remember that. The loudest voices in the room are not the most important voices in the room. Let me thank you all for coming. We've got some other activities. I will power motion. Let's thank them from. Let's one more time thank these families for their courage, I want to thank the media for coming out as well. This press conference is adjourned.
Thank you, Mark Moriel and the National Urban League.
All right, guys. Oh my gosh. Woo. Oh my gosh. I feel like I've been out here all day long. Woo. Long day, long day. Oh, guys. Oh my gosh. It's been a long one today. I feel like I done slept online today, and I feel like I woke up and was still online. That was a lot of information to dissect, y'all. I thank you guys for supporting my channel, but I got to get up off here. It's been almost 3 hours. I'm about to lose it, okay? And then I have another meeting at 2 o'clock, so I got about 20 minutes to prepare. So I'll catch y'all later on. I do got some more stuff, but I got to let what I just watched sink in. So make sure you guys like the video on your way out. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for supporting the channel again. And I'll see y'all later.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm listening. Go on. Yes, I'm typing it all down.
Kia, clear, spilling tea. No fear, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. I don't lies right here. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Yeah. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. I'm still here, no fear, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Make sure you subscribe to Lakeysha Keysha, my dear. I'm still here, no fear, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here.
Stretch words like
Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear.